Welcome back to Phoenix English classes. Today we are going to continue with the same chapter, that is chapter number 5 in the book Flamingo. The title of the chapter is Indigo. This chapter is an excerpt from the history of India, in which a part of Indian freedom fighting movement has also got a place. The total setup, the historical background is of the Indian freedom fighting in 20th century that started from 1916 onwards. The chief character, the main character is Gandhiji, and the excerpt, the extract is from the biography of Gandhiji, which is said to be the most authentic biography of Gandhiji, written by Louis Fisher. Up to now, we discussed how Gandhiji came to know about indigo sharecropping. That was a provision in Bihar at that time, and the man who came to him seeking help, the man was Rajkumar Shukla. He came to Gandhiji and meet him in the Lucknow Convention, where people from all the nooks and corners of India, who were the delegates, who were the members of Indian National Congress, assembled to discuss the political situation of India, especially in context of the British rule that was based on injustice and exploitation of Indian people. Let's continue. Rajkumar Shukla came and he said that I have come from Champaran, I am a peasant, I am a small farmer. He looked like a farmer. If you want to look like a farmer, you should be lean and thin, deprived of any kind of luxurious things. Maybe there are no footwear on your feet, and your clothes are tattered or very, very dirty, and you hardly can live a life which can be called a life of human being. If you have all these symptoms in you, then you are sure an Indian farmer. Plus minus the same situation is still there after independence. But Gandhiji, as he said, that he recognized the man, rather than saying recognized, we should say identified and cross-checked, cross-examined the man and his statement, and found it true that he was a farmer, because he was lean and thin. It seemed that he was malnutritioned, and hardly he had anything on his body except of the clothes that were too old and tattered, because there is no description about the footwear he was wearing at that time. He was on his seat at the time. We will not discuss about it. That was the overall observation of Gandhiji, that he told Mr. Louis Fisher that as soon as he said I am a peasant, I recognized him and I identified him because he looked like a peasant, deprived, malnourished, lean and thin. This is the identity of an Indian farmer still today. Then he said the purpose. Gandhiji first time came to know about Champaran district. He accepts it that he did not know, up to that time he did not know anything about Champaran district. It was the first time he was being acquainted with such kind of a place, and there was some problem that had cropped up, and Rajkumar Shukla wanted his help. Next line, follow the lines in your book. Under an ancient arrangement, the Champaran peasants were sharecroppers. This was a very old arrangement. that the peasants of Champaran did their farming work under an arrangement that was a legal arrangement, and it was called sharecropping. In the text, we will come to know the details of the sharecropping also. He was a sharecropper. Rajkumar Shukla, who came there seeking help of Gandhiji, and he met him, given his introduction to him, was a sharecropper, and that was his problem. Rajkumar Shukla was one of them. He was illiterate but resolute. Gandhiji mentions the quality of Rajkumar Shukla, the peasant. He was one of the sharecroppers. He was illiterate also. I emphasize on this term. He was illiterate and his name was Rajkumar Shukla. Doesn't matter to which caste or creed you belong to. If you are a farmer, you are only a farmer. You are deprived not only from good or square meal, but also from literacy. I am saying literacy, not about education. He was illiterate. He never went to a school. He never got an opportunity to go to school. Although he was illiterate, yet he was resolute. He has a firm determination. Such was his character, such was his nature. He was resolute. He was a determined person. Once he thought about doing something, he would do it. That was his nature. And this resolution of him, once he resolved a thing, he would not let it go unless and until it is fulfilled. He was resolute, that was his quality. He had come to the Congress session to complain about the injustice of the landlord system in Bihar, and somebody had probably said, speak to Gandhi. The line is very important. See, Rajkumar Shukla had come from Bihar to Lucknow in UP to complain about the injustice that was being done on the sharecroppers, on the farmers who were following the arrangement of the sharecropping. That was a legal arrangement. But it was an unjust thing. There was injustice. And he was there to complain about this kind of injustice done to them, done to the sharecroppers by the landlords. And he had come to meet the congressmen, the leadership of Congress. One thing should be memorized, one thing should be understood very well. Gandhiji was not a part of Indian National Congress. He was captured by them. Because Gandhiji was not like other congressmen, and it was known well by the people there in India at that time also. Someone had probably told him that if you want a solution to your problem, if you want real solution to a problem, the congressmen are not the right people to talk to. But there is one person in that convention. He is M.K. Gandhi. He is Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. If you want a solution to the problem, meet Gandhiji. If you want to talk about the problem, that's right, you can talk to anybody, to any of the leaders of Congress. And that point perhaps hit Rajkumar Shukla, and he directly went to Mahatma Gandhi and talked to him. He gave his introduction. He told about the injustice that was being done by the landlords on the sharecroppers in Bihar. Champaran sharecroppers were also one of them, and he was one of the Champaran farmers. He had come there to get some remedy. He wanted Gandhiji to go with him to Champaran and see what was the real situation, what was the actual plight that was present there in all the families of the sharecroppers. There was a kind of misery that was pervaded all around. If the man was a sharecropper, he was in a perpetual misery, and Rajkumar Shukla wanted Gandhiji to witness it so that he might help them. Gandhi told Shukla he had appointment in Kanpur and was also committed to go to other parts of India. At this point, when Gandhiji came to know that this farmer wants me to go with him and see the situation there and look upon the injustice being done to the sharecroppers, he showed his inability. He said, but I cannot go with you right now because I have many appointments in different parts of India. If I say about this appointment, the recent appointment, I am here in Lucknow convention, and after attending this Lucknow convention, I have to go to Kanpur. See, the Kanpur district was at that time also a prominent district, but the spelling is changed. Nowadays we say it Kanpur, that is Kanpur, but here you will find Kaunpur, Cawnpur, that is Kaunpur, Cawnpure, that is Kaunpur. It is Kanpur in UP, the adjacent district of Lucknow. He showed his helplessness. He said that I have many appointments. First I will go to Kanpur, then I will go to other parts of India. My arrangements have already been made. My appointments have already been fixed. How can I come with you to Champaran? Shukla accompanied him everywhere. At this, Shukla made no complaint. Neither he argued anything. The best thing about you, if you are resolute and you want to do really something, you want to understand really something, you want to get help from someone, this quality should be in you, which Rajkumar Shukla had. When Gandhiji showed inability, he did not give any argument to him. He simply started following him. Wherever Gandhiji went, Rajkumar Shukla was always there. Rajkumar Shukla followed him. From Lucknow convention to everywhere where Gandhiji had to go, Shukla followed him. He said, if you don't have time, I do not complain about it. I have lots of time, but I will not go back to Champaran without you. He started following him without any argument, any other word. Wherever Gandhiji went, Rajkumar Shukla also followed him. The Gandhiji returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad. That was Sabarmati ashram. Gandhiji, whenever he got time, as his abiding place, he went to Gujarat, and in Ahmedabad, in his ashram, he lived as it was his home. It was really his home. The ashram was the home of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, after fulfilling certain appointments, went back to Ahmedabad ashram. Shukla followed him to the ashram, and because Shukla was following him, he was stalking him, he went to Ahmedabad. He also went to ashram. Gandhiji looked at him and found that this man is really very resolute. He is a man of firm determination. He is not going to leave me. Because he was noticing from that very time when he was in Lucknow convention, he was noticing everywhere, wherever he went, whatever program was there was one spectator always present in the front line. That was Rajkumar Shukla. Although Rajkumar said nothing to Gandhiji, yet he showed his presence. He made him feel that I am with you, I will not go back, without saying a word. For weeks he never left Gandhi's side. Now Gandhiji realized that this man is resolute enough, and his need is also such a one which cannot be ignored. Otherwise, someone would not have followed him like this. Up to now, he knew that for weeks he is following me, he is always present around me, and he has never left me alone. Gandhi told Shukla he had an appointment in. Fix a date, he begged. When Gandhiji once again asked him, "What do you want now?" Shukla said, "Fix the date. I want you to take to Champaran and I will do it. Now it's in your hand when you would like to go with me. Please fix a date." When he was allowed to speak, he spoke one thing only: "Please fix a date for me. As you give appointment to others, please give me an appointment and come with me to Champaran." He begged, he pleaded. Impressed by the sharecropper's tenacity and story, Gandhi said, "I have to be in Calcutta on such and such a date. Come and meet me and take me from there." Now Gandhiji gave him time, first to listen to him. Whatever Shukla told him, that impressed Gandhiji very much, because he not only came to know about the story of that sharecropper and other sharecroppers in Champaran, but also about the staunch resolution, the firm determination, the tenacity of this sharecropper who was not literate at all. Yet he was a man of quality. He was very much impressed. Then Gandhiji ultimately gave him a solution. He said that this and this date is reserved for some specific work in Calcutta. It means he will go to Calcutta and attend certain things as it was previously decided. And after that time period which he was going to spend in Calcutta, he will be free from there for a certain period of time. And if Rajkumar Shukla goes there in Calcutta at that appointed time, Gandhiji would also go with him to Champaran. Gandhiji was now prepared. He had made up his mind to go to Champaran and look into the matter personally, as it was the wish of the farmer also. Months passed, but this date was not a short date. This date was after a number of months. Months passed. Shukla was sitting on his hunches at the appointed spot in Calcutta when Gandhi arrived. Gandhiji would have thought that the farmer would forget the things, perhaps he would not come. But to the surprise of Gandhiji, when Gandhiji arrived Calcutta, Rajkumar Shukla was already sitting on his hunches. He was sitting on his buttocks. They are waiting for Gandhiji, all hunched up. He was waiting for him. Gandhiji was very much impressed. He was already impressed, but this was another good impression on Gandhiji. Gandhiji, arriving in Calcutta, saw the first thing, the first face, that was of Rajkumar Shukla. He was waiting there. He was not waiting for the time that Gandhiji will get time after his appointments have been fulfilled. Then he would go and take Gandhiji with him. No. As soon as Gandhiji arrived there, Rajkumar Shukla was present there and he showed his presence. Gandhiji was very glad. He waited till Gandhi was free. And he waited there till Gandhiji finished all his appointed tasks and he was completely free. Then the two of them boarded a train for the city of Patna in Bihar. And after completing his work there in Calcutta, Gandhiji and Rajkumar Shukla boarded a train in Calcutta that went to Bihar. The capital city was Patna. They reached Patna. There Shukla led him to the house of a lawyer named Rajendra Prasad, who later became the president of Congress Party and of India. And there Shukla led him to a barrister's house, because he was a farmer and he was fighting case against the landlords, against the injustice of the landlords. And if you want to fight a case, then certainly you need a lawyer, a barrister, and his barrister was Dr. Rajendra Prasad. I think you are very much familiar with this name. Sometimes he is called Dr. Rajendra Prasad, sometimes he is called, popularly he is known as Babu Rajendra Prasad. Gandhiji was taken by Rajkumar Shukla to the house of Babu Rajendra Prasad, and giving the introduction of Rajendra Prasad, Louis Fisher says he is the same Rajendra Prasad who later became the president of Indian National Congress, and in Free India he became the first president of India. At that time he was practicing there in Patna, and he was fighting the case of Rajkumar Shukla. Rajkumar Shukla went there only to give more exposure of the matter to Gandhiji. If Gandhiji talks to his barrister Babu Rajendra Prasad Shukla, he would surely come to know about the pros and cons, the ins and outs of, and other details of the case that was going on, that was being fought between the farmers and the landlords. Rajendra Prasad was out of town, but the servants knew Shukla as a poor yeoman who pestered their master to help the indigo sharecroppers. Fortunately, unfortunately, by chance, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was not available at home. But there was no problem at all. No problem of staying at all. Because all the servants of Babu Rajendra Prasad already knew Rajkumar Shukla. They knew that he is a poor farmer, and he always comes to Babuji. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was called Babuji also. To Babuji to trouble him, to bring help to the poor sharecroppers. It gives a glimpse of Babu Rajendra Prasad's character. He was very famous and very veteran barrister of Patna. He practiced in Patna High Court. But he had a soft corner for the Indian people, especially of the poor Indian farmers. Fighting a case means paying lots of money. But Babu Rajendra Prasad was available for the poor farmers, and he fought the case of the deprived ones. That's why all the servants of Babu Rajendra Prasad knew Shukla very well, that whenever he wants some help, he wants some legal help, or somebody who is acquainted to Rajkumar Shukla needs help but he does not have money or proper means, he comes with that farmer and requests Babu Rajendra Prasad to help him, and he was always helped. And because he was known to everybody, the servants gave him place to stay there. And with Gandhiji was not a very popular figure at that time, so the servants did not know anything about Gandhiji. They did not recognize him even. But because he was with him, with Rajkumar Shukla, and he also looked like a poor farmer, they thought that he is also a poor farmer whom Rajkumar Shukla has brought for bringing help. So they let him stay on the grounds with his companion Gandhi, whom they took to be another peasants. So this was the reason the servants of Babu Rajendra Prasad gave a place in the house on the ground to stay for the night, and side by side there was the place for Gandhiji also, because they did not recognize Gandhiji. They thought Gandhiji was also one of the peasants who had come there to take help of Babu Rajendra Prasad. But Gandhi was not permitted to draw water from the well lest some drops from his bucket pollute the entire source. But Gandhiji, although Gandhiji was given the place to stay there for the night on the ground with Rajkumar Shukla, these points are very important to understand. What kind of a thought is always there in the minds of the English people, they always do it. The first thing that you can think, who was Babu Rajendra Prasad, who did not let him draw water from his well, because if Gandhiji, because he was not recognized, if he were a man of lower caste and his bucket at the time of drawing water from the well drop certain drops of water into the well, the whole water will be polluted. Who can think like this? Can you think? Whatever you think, that is wrong. Babu Rajendra Prasad and his caste is a key to open your minds, to free your minds from the prejudices. See, a Brahman farmer is staying for the night beside a man who may be a lower caste man, and another person. Try to know about Babu Rajendra Prasad, to which caste did he belong. And another person who was from the upper caste did not let draw water from the well. That is the point, you have to ponder it over, and your minds will be extremely free from any kind of racial and creed and caste prejudice that you would have in mind. This is the key, and this is the line in which Louis Fisher's that part of character is seen, where I have already told in the previous video that he was a man of a strike nature. He was not siding with anybody, but being an Englishman, he has the prejudices against Indians. It was not in favor of Indians, but it was against the Indian people. That is shown in this line. How did they know that he was not an untouchable? The question was that, this was the question in front of those servants of Babu Rajendra Prasad. How can we allow him to draw water from the well? Who can say he is an untouchable? An untouchable had come with a farmer who happened to be a Brahmin. So this part has ended here. For the next part, you have to watch the next video. Otherwise, the video will be too long. So we are stopping here. In next video, we will proceed forward. We will see what happens after that. Till then, take care. Goodbye.